Eden Memorial Chapels understands Jewish funerals can take many forms. Some are very Orthodox, while others are more conservative or of a Reformed nature. There's no one better in New York or New Jersey. Go to EdenMemorial.com.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories. It's Katz and Cosby on 77 WABC.
It's a true pleasure to be with you this evening. Amazing pleasure. And these days it's really a pleasure anywhere in New York without a subpoena for my appearance.
Well, we have three people in the studio that were there last night.
Without a subpoena.
All three of us never got subpoenas. And all three of us were on the dais. You got Ed Cox, and you have Governor Paterson, and myself. And we'll talk about tonight. And we have Judge Richard Weinberg. Maybe we'll invite him next year. And and we got Rita Cosby.
And I've been to many of them, and I was watching last night, by the way, you guys. That was such a great moment, John, with the president, with former President Trump. And I thought he had some other funny ones. He also, when he commiserated with Eric Adams and said, hey, I've complained about the migrant crisis. You're complaining. You got, indicted, And what did you think, Governor Paterson?
It was terrific. And Mayor Adams was grinning ear to ear. And I haven't seen him do that in about 6 months.
And you talked to the president, too. There was some video of you talking to the president.
Well, the president and I had mutual contempt for a certain individual. I won't mention the person's name. They're no longer with us.
Is the person sitting in the room?
No.
Okay, good. Okay, good. Good.
And we were carrying on about it. And I think people watching us weren't sure that we were having a pleasant or unpleasant conversation. When the president realized it, he put his arm around me and he said, no, we're talking about an old friend that we miss.
And he was very cordial, right?
Totally.
Totally. John, I thought it was superb.
I think
he can do that when he wants to.
I think he would win 49 states if he was as cordial in the future as if he was last night. What do you say,
But John is very formal with Chuck Schumer. He said he could run for president, didn't he?
Yeah, right, as the first female president, if it doesn't work out this time.
Very cordial.
But you know what was funny? It was also like a nice rapport. I saw him also talking to Governor Kathy Hochul. I mean, I agree with John. What last night, and I was curious with you guys in the room. I mean, I'd say 70-80% in the room were clapping. And I thought even at the end,
I would put the number. I'm going to give you a number.
All right, let's hear.
In the room, you had maybe 700, 800. I don't remember how many people. And I would say on the boos versus the claps, I think it was 70-30 Trump. Governor, and then we'll go to that.
I'd agree with that. I'd agree with that.
70% for Trump.
Yes.
30, yeah, I would agree with that. Yeah.
And how was the response to the vice president's tape?
Oh, my God.
Almost like they played like mood music for a few minutes and then it went away.
Yeah, that bad? Almost, I hate mood music.
It really annoyed the Catholics. And I had a speech this morning. I was talking to the board of directors, they call it the Archdiocesan Council of Greek Orthodox Church, and I made a comment about it. And I said, it seems like Kamala, and I don't know, I only had lunch with her at one time, and maybe the governor would say something, was the parts of the Democratic Party are anti-Christo-Judeo rules and the
values,
way of life.
Right, values. Yeah.
Well, Governor, what do you say?
I'll say this. I know one Catholic that was very upset by the process, and I won't say who it is, but his initials are Cardinal Dolan.
Yeah, he said he was disappointed.
He was.
You know what I found interesting, and John and Gov and Ed who were there, I was watching it, and first of all, it was the woman from SNL who was playing the Catholic schoolgirl. I found it offensive that they were sort of mocking Catholics, and I didn't find it funny, and barely Kamala said a word in it.
The Al Smith dinner has a certain style to it, and you just can't do it by video, and they really didn't do it well at all. And
the big item that all religious people should ask, she turned it down 2 months ago. It isn't if she had an emergency.
Right, exactly. Because if she had turned it down because of an emergency, everybody would have understood. But there's this problem in campaigns, and I'm sorry to say this for myself, that too many Democratic campaigns of overthinking, like we're going to be really we're going to let Trump destroy himself. We're not going to go. And they got back the opposite of what they wanted. And by the way, if they woke up this morning and didn't realize it was a bad mistake, then it's going to lead to more of them.
Well, you only got 15, 16 days. I mean, Ed Cox and everybody in the studio here, the other big problem around is the Lebanon, Israel, Iran. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people today, done some conversations for my Sunday show. We're on the verge of World War III. We got so many wars going on, and Israel is trying to decide what they're going to do with Lebanon. You guys have anything to say?
With Iran. I mean, Iran had a major attack on Israel, and Israel has been putting it off. Question is, what's the deal with the United States? Has the United States saying you can't do this, you can't do that?
Oh, they have. They absolutely have.
Leave the oil fields alone.
Right. And you know what's disgraceful
leave
today?
Facilities alone.
And I can't wait to talk with General Blaine Holt, who we're going to have later on in the show.
Yeah, we're going to have later on. But the important thing is, the Israel is keeping the free world free.
Absolutely.
Now, let me ask the other question. If they did what they thought was right to keep the free world free, would President Biden at this point back them up?
The answer is no. And I'll tell, but
your opinion.
Yeah, my opinion. My opinion.
Country of 8 million people is keeping the free world free.
Yes.
Incredible.
But here, I want to say one thing.
Great skill.
I
want to hear from you.
But hang on. We heard from Biden today a little bit ago. He's pumping his chest. Oh, like we got Sinwar. That's give me a break.
Yeah, they're the ones who told to stay out of Rafah.
Yes, exactly. Governor Paterson.
Harris looked at the map. She says, you can't go in there. I looked at the map.
Yeah.
Who knew she could read a map?
And that's where Sinwar was.
Governor, any opinion?
Just that if Israel goes ahead and does what they think is right, it will be very hard for Biden or whoever is president to go against them because of what all of you just said, that they're really attacking the problem. Rather than waiting for it to envelop us, why beat Hamas and Hezbollah and then back off and let them regenerate? Why do that?
I agree 100%. And before we go on to our first guest, I want to say one more thing, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Mark Cuban, who was 110% for Biden, 120% for Harris, all of a sudden has done an apology. He apologized for the border crisis and the amount of people getting killed by importing those killers.
Yeah, and in fact, John, here's what he said. He was on CNBC, or CNN rather, and he said the border crisis got away from the Biden-Harris administration. And get this, you'll love this, Ed, because their hearts were too big. Oh. Is there anybody who buys that?
Wait. How did President Trump used to say, that's a lot of crap?
I mean, that's a new one, John. What do you make of that reasoning? No. I mean, come on. And also Elon Musk. And by the way, Elon Musk said something really interesting too, John. We were just talking about it before the show. Elon Musk bringing awareness, and we're going to have Rich Lowry on later on in the show about the border. But Elon Musk saying that the Venezuelan gang, Tren de Aragua, those really nice guys who are taking over some of the apartment complexes in Aurora, he said, have now taken over at least 4 apartment complexes in San Antonio, Texas. And remember, he's got his business there in San Antonio. So it looks like it's spreading, which is not a good
gangs are cancer for America. Why won't they wake up and face it?
And we allowed them to come in.
Not us. Not us. The Biden
President Biden allowed them to come in.
Right.
All right, full stop. Let's go to our first guest.